listening to Reverb Radio. Robinson Show. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. This is the perfect podcast for the drive home or while you're waking up in the morning, maybe doing the dishes, having a coffee, a nice quick short form little podcast to get you through the day. So 2020, guys, it's been interesting. I'm recording this on a rainy, cold day, and that's kind of the premise of 2020 is just that it's a very difficult year, but there is something to kind of, I guess, talk about when it comes to 2020, and one of the things that we've been going through is COVID-19, a pandemic, which is not something that I, in my lifetime, would ever expect to go through. We're literally living through a pandemic right now, and while it's definitely not what anyone wanted, there is some takeaways from this. And I think, a pandemic is teaching us things, being at home a lot more than we intended. Some of us have lost our jobs or are temporarily staying at home. Some of us are having to deal with not being so socially active. Some of us are having to deal with just all different kinds of things through this pandemic. And there's been a lot of topsy-turvy times with this. I know for me personally, it's hasn't changed a hell of a lot working where I do, retail. I've kind of just been adapting to the climate, I guess you will say, of COVID and of a pandemic, but that's not the same for everybody. And there's a lot of, again, topsy-turviness when it comes to being told you have to wear a mask or that you have to socially distance. And for some reason, humans don't like to be told what to do. So therefore they use their right of freedom to say, no, I'm not going to do this. And it's like with COVID, and what I've learned through this pandemic is that the only way we're going to, I can't say beat this, but the only way we're really going to try and get on top of this is that we all work together. And it only takes one human being not doing it to spread it, to continue this time that we're in. It really only takes one person, and that's the problem with it, is that it only takes one to spread this thing, and it just keeps growing and growing and getting worse and worse and getting more out of control as we speak. I'm pretty fortunate to be in a spot where there isn't many active cases in my state. We're still socially distancing. We're still on somewhat of a lockdown plan, but certainly not how other places are within the world and within the country. So that's a good thing. I mean, for me, but not a good thing for all the people that are going through this. And it's a testament to all the people that are doing the right thing. But, we see so many videos in one day just throughout social media of people refusing to wear a mask or refusing to socially distance or, having their opinions on everything. I think we've all known that the world, more so than ever, has an opinion and they like to exercise their right to use it. Some better than others. Some like to state their opinion as fact. Others don't. Here's the thing with COVID is that we as a society we're not sure what exactly this is and what exactly the long-term effects of this is and what exactly even a lot of the short-term effects are outside the norm. So we as a society don't really know how to adapt to this kind of stuff. But I think it's just important to state, even 4 or 5 months into this pandemic, listen to the advice of health professionals and follow the rules that are set in place by your government. Because, yes, okay, wearing a mask will not stop you from getting coronavirus. That's not what it does, but it definitely lessens the chance, and it also lessens the chance of spreading it to people that cannot handle this. Because there is some people that, it's different every time, but there's some people that will get this and not necessarily be quote-unquote that affected by it, and then in other cases it's causing death. Because remember, while you might think that, well, no one's invincible to this, by the way. Nobody is invincible to this virus, but while you may think you can handle this, someone else around you may not. That person that you went to the store and seen, that person you passed in an aisle in a grocery store may not be able to handle this. So just remember that. Just wearing a mask protects others more than it protects you. Put yourself in someone that couldn't handle this. Put yourself in their shoes and just kind of see how you think about it then. But I know as a society, a lot of us are doing the right thing, and a lot of us are following the rules and following the advice of health professionals, but it only takes, again, one person to kind of fuck this all up. So I don't know, it's weird though to say that we're living in a pandemic and we're living in this time where it's like, what is this exactly? We don't know. I know a lot of people are sick of talking about it, sick of hearing about it, sick of all you see is about COVID. But I think it's important to stay informed, and I think it's important that we keep up to date with this kind of things. But also, I think I've said this before, it's okay to take a step back, and, being consumed by this information constantly can get mentally draining. It's okay to take a step back, and it's okay to just kind of take a breather and not focus on it for a second. Stay importantly up to date, but just take a little bit of a breather and take a little bit of a step back and just kind of, mental health is a big thing in this time because, again, we're at home more often and we're experiencing a lot more time with ourselves, which is not something, some people are into that, some people are not. Some people are social butterflies and they like to be out and they like to see people, and in this case at the moment we just cannot be doing that. And yes, this pandemic will pass, but we've still got a little bit to go here. I don't think that we've seen the end of this yet. It doesn't really seem like there's an end in sight, but we will get on top of this once we get a vaccine and some, and just more people following guidelines. I feel like we might be able to at least take a kick at this and at least try and move on with the world, because I know a lot of people are tired of this and a lot of people are sick of this, but you have to keep following advice of health professionals, because we are not out of this yet. Clearly, you can see during the world, there's lots of people experiencing second waves of this. There's also lots of people that are prematurely going back into, not in lockdown. There's a lot of places that are doing the wrong thing, but it's hard to tell what is right and wrong in this stage. It's very hard to tell. So I hope, man, that this really does move along soon, but it's still got a little bit to go, and we've still got to keep fighting and still got to keep holding on and again, following advice of professionals. So I know this is a short-winded episode, but that's okay. Again, this is the perfect podcast for your drive home, drive to work, maybe just for around the house, a quick little short dose of this show. That's what this show is becoming, and that's what I'm liking about this show. So I hope you are enjoying your week. It is Wednesday. It is the middle of the week. It's hump day, all of that. Keep on smiling and keep on staying positive and keep on living through a pandemic. It is pretty wild to say that out loud. It's just like we're living through a pandemic. But, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Josh Robinson Show. Of course, you can catch all the other episodes here on Reverb Radio, whether it's Wrestling Reverb, Brothers by Law, or Ditz versus Josh. Of course, you can catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/JoshRobinson00, live 5 times this week, which you would have already known by the time this episode drops, but I would have been live a couple of times. But got Evolution 2 coming up this week, this Friday, my time, Thursday night for you guys in the States, with Queen, and we're going to do a whole Evolution 2 show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. And everything else that's going on with content-wise, and I hope everybody is staying busy in this time. But until next Wednesday on The Josh Robinson Show, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.